Welcome again. In the previous lecture, we just validated our data file, whatever we have created. So we just validate that to make sure the GLs, whatever we are trying to create now and using that LSMW does not exist in the system. So let's execute the step read data and display read data. So let's execute that. So you can see that system is reading and processing the file. So here you can see that. So this was the source structure and this was read written, and if there is any error out thing, it will be not written. You would have number here. So five transactions were read, five records were read. So transactions, when you say transaction, because you know that for each record system BTC is you going to process a transaction. So five transaction written, five records written. So we are good on that. Let's go back and display the read data. So here you can see that this is our data. Here you can validate that we have all the way from 15 to 19, and you can see that our GL accounts populated here. That's the company code right here. It's a way to read it basically. Then we have XX here, which represent PNL type mark, and then the material group account group, basically it's account group MATR. Then we have a short text, then we have a long text, then we have our field status group G006, then we have text category, then we have a currency, then we have post automatically button. It's basically reading the file by the sequence. Then the next option we have is post line item display, and then the posting without text allowed. So all these transactions were read. So it's obviously, if you compare that with the batch input recording process, it's not really much meaningful reading here. So obviously there are some pros and cons of using batch input recording versus BTC. It's not much meaningful, but obviously you can still read that like what's it's reading. But when we are talking about the data validation, I think this is the key point where you need to validate your data to make sure everything looks good. So let's go back out of that. So uh, we just did our uh, we just execute our steps of reading data and display reading data. So I will stop here and I will see you in our next lecture when we will continue from the next step.